FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
Donald Trump will go to Detroit tonight. He was challenged after the last speech he gave up there to go speak to Africa. He gave a speech on African Americans, but somebody, of course, had to note that there weren't any in the audience. So now I think he's going to redirect a little bit. We are fortunate to have Peter Doocy from the Fox News Channel joining us. He's going to be covering that Detroit speech tonight. Peter, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Mark.
Hey, good. So what are we expected to hear from Donald Trump tonight?
The speech here in Detroit is going to be tomorrow morning. We came, though, a day early, and we're right outside this Great Faith Ministries where he's going to be appearing tomorrow. And I tell you what, we are about as far away from Trump Tower in feeling as you can be. This is a neighborhood that a lot of, if not most, businesses are boarded up. Just about every lot that you see is overgrown with brush, and it doesn't look like this has been a real desirable place to be for several decades. So he's going to come here tomorrow, and we expect him to blame the decay here on Democrats. He's basically going to say that he does not think that the Democratic politicians that people in Detroit have been favoring for decades, for about 50 years, have been doing them much good because look around at a place like this. So we're going to hear him offer himself as an alternative to anybody that wants a job, to anybody that might want to see their neighborhood improved. And this is going to be the first speech of its kind during this campaign, so it's going to be very interesting, and it will be very telling to see how he's received at the Great Faith Ministries tomorrow.
So I'm sure you've had a chance to maybe meet a few people up there. What are you hearing from the folks who reside in that neighborhood?
It's interesting. A lot of the folks that we met, we went to a barber shop first thing when we got here yesterday because everybody said if you want to know what's really going on, don't talk to the consultant, go to a barber shop. And so we went, and a lot of the people, everybody was very open to the idea of Trump coming. They said, he's fine to come. We don't mind that he's here, but we're not going to vote for him because we just have voted for Democrats for our whole lives, and we're always going to vote for Democrats. They have an impossible time seeing Republicans as being more for them than Democratic leaders, despite all of the problems here, the high crime, the lower than average graduation rates, the issues, some issues with housing, and they just have a hard time breaking it with the concept of possibly voting for Trump or any other Republican. So it's not necessarily just a Trump problem. It is a problem with any Republican, and that's why some Republican officials here told us that they're really targeting millennials. They want to try to get people on board with the GOP before they get sucked into a lifetime of casting ballots for the other guys.
Right. We're talking to Peter Doocy from the Fox News Channel. I know you didn't take a wide-ranging poll when you went to a barbershop, but in talking to these people, do you get the impression that they're passionate about Hillary Clinton, or they're just don't care enough for Trump to switch over and vote for him? I'm detecting sort of an underlying lack of enthusiasm on the part of Clinton supporters.
That's exactly right. In fact, remember back in March, Bernie Sanders won the Democratic primary in this state, and we had somebody come up to us yesterday right outside the barbershop, and he said, look, I'm not really that into Hillary, but she's given us something, but you still like Bernie the best.
Yeah.
So these are people who, it's almost like they vote for Democrats by default. It's what their parents did, it's what they've done until now, and it's what they plan to do just because that's what people do. So Trump really has his work cut out for him here tomorrow to convince these older people, these older African Americans in some of the worst neighborhoods in Detroit, that he can offer them a quick and a tangible benefit to vote for him if he's president. And if not, he's going to have a tough time here.
Very true. Peter Doocy, we'll look for your reports tonight on the Fox News Channel.
Thank you very much, Mark. Talk to you next time.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate that, and always good to get to talk to somebody on the ground. My mistake, I was thinking that speech was tonight, but I guess it's going to be tomorrow morning. So they're there in advance of that speech. Trump is doing another sort of roundtable type discussion today around, I think it's around 1 o'clock Central Time.
Get more at 971talk.com.